Hey guys, it's Elaine, the Ninja Life Coach, and welcome to my channel today. Today is Wig Talk Tuesday, so sit back, grab yourselves a cup of coffee. I'll be right back. Hey everybody, I'm back. Let's talk just a minute about low density wigs versus high density wigs. As you all have heard me say before on this channel, I am a synthetic gal. I really love synthetic wigs. I have a couple of human hair wigs and I am not a huge fan of them. It has taken me forever to get used to styling them and to wearing them, and to be honest, I just haven't worn them very much. But synthetic wigs to me are easy. They're shake and go. You can style them a little bit if you want to. You can thin them. You can do all kinds of stuff. I think to me, they are just easier. The older I get, the more I've discovered I really like easy. Easy is fun. Easy is quick. Easy is easy. And human hair to me is just not easy. Now, if I were 15 years old and I had just found out that I was losing my hair through alopecia, or I found out I'd gotten a bad cancer diagnosis with chemo and I love to fix and fool with my hair, that's a whole different ball game. So if you're young and you like to do all that stuff, or if you're old and you just like to fool with your hair, have at it. Go with those human hair wigs and just rock it, sister. That's all I've got to say. And do you prefer a low density or a high density? And some of the wigs that you order they're not marked high density or low density. You just get the wig and it's a hot mess. It's got hair everywhere and it's thick and you feel like you're wearing a babushka or a gorilla on your head because it's just thick. For me, I have had to thin a lot of my cheap wigs. When you've got a wig that's inexpensive, like good old Debbie back here, when you've got a wig like that is a cheap wig that I ordered off of Amazon, she was $17. I have thinned and thinned and thinned and thinned her because she was hairy. I mean, she was a hairy mess. So I just kept thinning and thinning and thinning till I got her the desired consistency that I wanted. Now, with my better wigs, I have found I don't have to do that quite as much, but I've had a couple of wigs that are $150, $200 wigs that I have had to thin. Now, my human hair wigs that I have, I've had to thin them a little bit more than I have my synthetic hair. But I'm talking about better wigs. But when you've got a better wig, usually on the website, if you look, it will say low density, high density, whatever the density is on the wig. It doesn't always say that, but it does sometimes. I know the wigs that I get from Eva Hair, for instance, those are all high density wigs because most of those are fashion wigs, or some of them are costume wigs. And when you get a fashion wig, most of them are the higher density wigs. Now, I don't really mind that in the wintertime because it keeps your head warm. You don't have to worry about wearing a hat or anything. You got the wig. And it feels pretty good out when it's cold. And you don't have, you're like, my hair looks great. I don't care what anybody else's does in that little toboggan they got on, but mine looks great. But when it's summer here in the South, I'm telling you, it is hot. The humidity in the Tennessee where I'm at is very, very hot. And it is hard to wear a heavy density wig when it gets really hot like that outside. It's hard because you will burn up. I mean, I've been out in the car and I have just wig snatched myself to get that thing off my head because it was it was burning me up. There was sweat running down my neck. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So what I try to do is in the summertime, I wear my lower density wigs. Now, do I still get hot? That is one thing that wigs always are. Wigs are not, they're not cool. Wigs are not cool. But if you wear a lower density wig and wear a cap that has the open mesh, then you have an opportunity to get a little bit cooler in your wig. And they do make cotton wig caps. So if you want something that's really going to be cool and kind of absorb some of the moisture in your head, try getting a cotton wig cap. And I think they even have like cooling caps for wigs. And Yeah, I'll look and see if I can find one, and if I can, I'll drop a link to it down in the description box. But that's a good option for summer. I don't have one of those because what I normally do is, I just kind of, grin and bear it. Sometimes I've got a cotton handkerchief that sometimes I will put on top of my head to keep that heat away from my head. But you really just kind of have to bear it in some way, especially if you have biological hair, which I do. And I'm very blessed by that, and I realize that. But I do know, I do have some friends who have hair loss, and that's one thing that they do complain about is the density of the wig and how hot it is if you wear a heavy density wig. So I wanted to just address that today and talk about it a little bit, because let's look at two different wigs, a wig that's low density, and let's look at a wig that's a higher density wig. Okay, so let's look at Uniwigs Lisa. This is a wig by Uniwigs, and I've got two of them. I have this one, and then I have a blonde one. But flipping this wig inside out, it's got the basic wig cap, it's got the little adjustable straps, it's got the bendable ear tabs. I mean, it's a pretty basic wig. It's got a little bit of permatease up in the top. Lisa is not an extremely expensive wig. I think she's like maybe $150, $180. She's not horribly expensive, but she's not a cheap wig either. And she is a lower density wig. Now, let's compare this to this wig from Hair Cube. Now, I picked this one because these wigs are really, really similar. And I wanted to, show you the difference. This wig weighs, in my hand, twice the amount as this Lisa, because there is simply a ton of hair. I don't know if you can see compared to the two here. I'm going to try to back up so you can see. I mean, you can see this, how fluffy this one is. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you had at one time had thicker hair. That might be something you might want to consider. But this wig has permatease all throughout. And permatease is one thing that makes a wig hot. So you have to know that when you're getting ready to buy a wig, especially one you're going to wear all the time, how much permatease does that wig have? Because the permatease can actually make the wig hotter. I know it's kind of weird, but it really does. But this wig is basically the same on the inside. It's got your basic wig cap. It's got the little bendable tabs. But if you look at the wefts are further apart than they are in Lisa. Now, you would think that since there are more wefts in this wig, that this wig would be hotter. But it isn't, because the fibers are finer and it's a lower density wig, and it's been a little bit more customized than this wig. When you buy a cheap wig, you're most likely going to get a heavier density wig like this wig. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying there's not anything wrong with that. If you like a heavier density wig, there's nothing wrong with that. And you can certainly go in there and thin this out. I could probably take about half the hair out of this wig and it would be, it would be just fine. But when you feel the fibers between this wig and the Uniwigs wig, you can tell the difference. This is more of a realistic looking wig. This one, you can just feel the fibers and you can tell it's soft, it feels good, but it's not as fine of a fiber as this. Now, do I like expensive wigs? Lordy, honey, yes I do. Do I like cheap wigs? Lordy, honey, yes I do. I love wigs. So you can take a cheaper wig and you can always pick some of the permatease. You can, get in there and work on that permatease a little bit. Just, get that loose. And you can do all kinds of things with that. But again, if you want something that you're not going to have to thin and do a bunch of stuff to, you might consider for the summer months getting a lower density wig. I really like, in the summer, I like a low density wig. It doesn't make my head sweat as bad. Now, all wigs to me, because I'm a postmenopausal woman, so all wigs to me are going to be hot on some level. At some point in time, I am going to sweat, but I will sweat a whole lot less in this one than I will in this one. Now, I wish you guys could actually feel the fibers on this, because for a cheap wig, this wig I think was like $18, $20, something like that. For a cheap wig, the fibers on this isn't bad. But you can definitely tell that when you start feeling of it and feel of the difference between that and this, you can tell the difference in the fibers. But there's kind of just a little overview of a low density versus a high or a heavier density wig. And that decision is a decision that you can make. What do you like? Do you want something that's going to keep your head warm? Does your head get cold? Do you sweat? That's all going to be things you're going to want to ask yourself when you're picking out a wig. You're going to want to know all these things, because that's important, especially if you're wearing the wig every single day. I know that my sister and I will never forget this, we went downtown last year in October, and it was hot. I mean, it was still 90 degrees, and we took the dogs downtown and took them over to we have a park downtown, and we took them to the park and let them walk around in the park. And then my sister and I went to the Market Square, and we had dinner, and we sat out there and let the dogs get, because you can take your dogs into some of the restaurants and stuff down there, and they have bowls of water and stuff out there, and the dogs really had a great time. Well, my sister and I decided that we were going to wear our wigs down there, and we almost died. It was so hot. And this was like at 8 o'clock at night, and it was really, really hot. And she said, I'm really regretting wearing this wig down here at this time of night. And I said, you know what? I kind of am too. But we didn't want to fix our hair that day. We're like, I just don't want to do it. I mean, my hair was looking horrible, and which it does about 90% of the time. And I said, I don't want to do it. So I put on my blonde version of this, and I wore it down there, and she wore something else. I don't know what it was. I think another wig that I had here. But we really had a great time, but our heads did get hot. I'm just going to tell you. So that is one thing, if you are going to wear a wig, that I am going to encourage you with, that try to, if maybe don't wear that wig grip in the summertime if you don't have to, because velour is hot. So if you can find one made out of something else, like maybe bamboo or something else, it might be a little bit more of a cooler fabric rather than wearing, one that's velour. Or if you can get one that's a little bit more narrow. I've got a couple from Milani that I got off of Amazon, and I'll drop a link down in the description box so y'all can take a look at them, that are really good for the summer months, because they're not quite as thick. I've got a really thick one that's about this thick that I wear in the wintertime, but it's a little bit hot and heavy for me to wear during the summertime. So that's just something for you to think about, ladies and gentlemen, if that's something that you all have wondered about, and especially those of you who may be new to wig wearing, there is a difference in the density of wigs. So just always keep in mind that normally your cheaper wigs like this one, they're going to be a heavier density. So when you get something off of Amazon and it's $17, or if you get something from AliExpress or Wish or any of those wigs, there's nothing wrong with that. I've got a ton of Amazon wigs, and I love them, and I love fiddling with them. To me, that's fun. If I can put this thing on old Cleopatra back here and I can mess with it a little bit, then to me, that's a great day for me just to play with wigs. But be sure to just be aware that you are probably going to have to thin that wig. And I have got a video, I've got a couple of videos where I thin a wig and show you all how to do that. So it's really not hard, but just be aware that you may have to work on the wig just a little bit. Remember, when you order a wig from somewhere, I don't care if you order a $800 Ellen Villa human hair wig, or if you order a $17 wig from Amazon. It doesn't matter. They have done more than just plop the wig on the mannequin like what I've done back here with Cleo, than what's showing in that picture. They have styled that wig. They have probably clipped part of it back, so you can't see all this hair. They have more than likely, thinned the wig. Who knows what all they've done to that wig to make it look like they do for the picture. So just be aware that when you order from Amazon, you may get exactly what you ordered, or you may not. It may look like the picture, it may not. But that is not exclusive to Amazon. That's with any wig company that I've ever seen. Now, thankfully, you can go and watch reviews on and see them on People. and you can know, like if you're wanting to order something like, say, John Renault or Gabor or Raquel Welch or Ellen Villa or any of the better wigs, you can pretty much just type in your search bar Ellen Villa wigs, and you can find pretty much, there's my baby right there. She's sitting with me while I'm making this video. You can pretty much find a review on pretty much any wig that you want to find. So she's wanting some attention. Look at her. Isn't she sweet? I just love his little face. There's my baby right there. You all have a great day. It's been a pleasure for me to visit with y'all today. And if you have any questions, if I can help you in any way, y'all just let me know. God bless you guys. Maranatha. Was that not enough attention for you? It wasn't. She wanted me to love on her some more.